morning, Storytime friends. How are you doing today? It's Hannah at the Barkman branch, and today I am feeling very daydreamy. I just kind of want to lay on my back and look up at the sky and look at all the clouds. That's right, Storytime friends. Today we are going to be reading about clouds. I love watching clouds. They make so many cool shapes. Sometimes they're white and fluffy. Sometimes they're gray and stormy. Clouds are such a beautiful thing in nature, aren't they? All right, Storytime friends. Well, if you're ready to read about clouds, let's stand up and sing our Storytime song. Because just like clouds, we all have sillies and willies, and we all need to move about and get those out. So let's go ahead and sing If You're Ready for a Story. Are you ready? If you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story, clap your hands. If you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, clap your hands. What do we do next, Storytime friends? If you're ready for a story, stomp your feet. If you're ready for a story, stomp your feet. If you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, stomp your feet. Wow, all of that stomping, do you know what that sounds like? It sounds like thunder to me. If you're ready for a story, turn around. If you're ready for a story, turn around. If you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, turn around. And last one, friends, let's get our wiggles out. And if you're ready for a story, take a seat. If you're ready for a story, take a seat. If you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, if you're ready for a story, take a seat. All right, nice job, Storytime friends. And if you haven't already, take your seats while I'm putting away my ukulele. And we will read our first story about clouds. All right. So, this story is called It Looked Like Spilt Milk. And this is by Charles G. Shaw. And this is read with permission from HarperCollins Publishers. So I see all kinds of things on this front cover, don't you? What kind of shapes do you see? I see an ice cream cone. What else is there? I see some animals. Maybe a tree. Well, let's read and see what is this that could look like spilt milk and also like all these different animal shapes. Sometimes it looked like spilt milk, but it wasn't spilt milk. Sometimes it looked like a rabbit, but it wasn't a rabbit. Sometimes it looked like a bird, but it wasn't a bird. What could this thing be? Sometimes it looked like a tree, but it wasn't a tree. What is this, Storytime friends? That ice cream cone we saw on the front cover? Sometimes it looked like an ice cream cone, but it wasn't an ice cream cone. What could this thing be? It looks like spilt milk, like ice cream cones, but also like trees and rabbits and birds? What do you think it could be, Storytime friends? Those are some good guesses. Let's find out. Sometimes it looked like a flower, but it wasn't a flower. Sometimes it looked like a pig, but it wasn't a pig. Ooh, sometimes it looked like a birthday cake, but it wasn't a birthday cake. Do you see the cake here, Storytime friends? And what's that up here? A birthday candle for your birthday cake? But it's not a candle. It looks so much like a candle. Sometimes it looked like a sheep, but it wasn't a sheep. Sometimes it looked like a great horned owl, but it wasn't a great horned owl. Do you see the owl there, Storytime friends? We have the owl's head and his horns and his big wings and his poof tail. But it's not a great horned owl. Sometimes it looked like a mitten, but it wasn't a mitten. Cute! Sometimes it looked like a squirrel. I love squirrels. Oh, but it wasn't a squirrel. I am so confused, Storytime friends. We have squirrels and birthday cakes and great horned owls. What could this be? Sometimes it looked like an angel, but it wasn't an angel. Are you ready to find out what it is, Storytime friends? Sometimes it looked like spilt milk, but it wasn't spilt milk. It was just a cloud in the sky. Ah, that's what all of those shapes were. The ice cream and the squirrel and the angel and the bird. Just a cloud in the sky. Wow, clouds are pretty cool, aren't they? Clouds are really cool because they can take all different shapes like we were talking about, like that book. And sometimes it does look like spilt milk, doesn't it? It's just spilled across the sky, across the blue sky, some beautiful white pattern like that. You know what else I like about clouds a lot? Clouds move a lot and they look really cool. And I have a dance groove to do with you all to get more of our wiggles out. And not only can we get our wiggles out for the next story, but you can act like a cloud. Does that sound like fun? All right, I'm hearing a lot of story timers that want to be clouds. I'll show you how to do it and then you follow along, okay? I'm a little cloud in the sky. You can find me way up high. Sometimes I'm puffy, sometimes stretched out. I just love to float about. Okay, so we go circle above our heads and then we reach. You can stand up and reach on your tippy toes. And then get puffy, like a big puffy fluffy white cloud. And then stretch out your arms and float about with me, okay? Do you want to do it together? All right, story time, friends. Let's all stand up. Okay. I'm a little cloud in the sky. You can find me way up high. Reach up, story time, friends. Touch the sky on your tippy toes. Sometimes I'm puffy. Make yourself puffy. Sometimes stretched out. I just love to float about. That's pretty fun to be a cloud, isn't it? Should we do it one more time? Let's do it one more time. I'm a little cloud in the sky. You can find me way up high. Sometimes I'm puffy, sometimes stretched out. I just love to float about. All right, give yourself a round of applause, Storytime friends. I saw some amazing clouds out there. Oh my goodness. I saw some huge, puffy, fluffy clouds, and I saw some skinny, floaty clouds. Nice job. All right. Well, now that we have our wiggles out again and we know what it feels like to be a cloud and move about in the sky, let's read a story from the perspective of a cloud. And this one is called Cloud Country. And the concept and pictures are by Noah Kloek, and it's written by Bonnie Beaker. And thanks to Disney Hyperion for letting us read this today. So let me show you the illustrations a bit better. Cloud Country. Do you see all of those clouds that look like people? What do you think this book is about? I think we're going to be reading from the perspective of these clouds and seeing what life is like for clouds in the sky. I wonder if they move around just like we did. Let's find out, shall we? Cloud Country. Let me scoot over. There we go. Gale floated on a warm breeze, watching the land below. Far off, a deer trotted across a meadow. Ducklings scrambled after their mother. Gale sighed, wishing she could look at the world like this forever. There's Gale, watching the land below. Earth gazing again? Asked her mother. Gale nodded. She knew she should have been practicing her cloud shapes. Today was Formation School graduation day, when all the young cloudlets like Gale would show the guardians what cloud shapes they could make. Already, other cloudlets and their families were swiftly floating by. Gale couldn't help noticing how well they drifted and billowed. Do you see the little cloudlets floating by? Though she had been practicing all year, she couldn't make even one real cloud shape. She closed her eyes tightly and tried again. She thought dark, stormy thoughts. So if Gale thinks dark, stormy thoughts, what cloud shape do you think she'll make? I think she'll make maybe a nimbo stratus or cumulus, where it gets all gray and stormy. Let's find out. Does this look like a cumulonimbus cloud? She asked her little brother, Nimba. Elephant cloud, he cried. I see the elephant, do you? Yeah, right here. There's its trunk. Gale thought puffy, fluffy, fat-cheeked thoughts, hoping to create a cumulus cloud. Lamb cloud, Nimba clapped his hands. Don't worry, Mama said. I know you can do it, Gale. She hoped Mama was right. It would be wonderful to graduate from formation school, forming a cloud shape she could be proud of. But Gale was out of time to practice. The other cloudlets in Gale's class were moving onto the stage. Do you think Gale's going to be able to make one cloud formation? Like a cumulonimbus or an altostratus? The guardians called each student forward, one by one. Ceres clouds stretched into a wispy stratus. Stratos cloud rose into a wide alto cumulus and disappeared. Bluster's cloud whirled around and around. Everyone knew he wanted to make funnel clouds when he grew up. Do you see the funnel clouds that Bluster is making? Oh my goodness, I see them up there. That's pretty blustery, isn't it? Soon, it was Gale's turn. Formation? Asked the head guardian. Cumulus cloud, she mumbled. Her stomach felt full of tiny slivers of lightning, but Gale took a deep breath and thought plump, floaty, cumulus thoughts. Tugboat? Guessed the head guardian. Quickly, Gail tried again. She thought fierce, flashing cumulonimbus thoughts. Dog? Asked another guardian. They were looking at each other now, and Gail could hear everyone else murmuring. Would you like to try one more? The head guardian asked. Gail couldn't help it. She began to rain. Raindrops pitter-pattered down her cheeks. She had spent too much time looking at the land below after all. Oh, poor Gail. How do you think she's feeling? She's sad, isn't she, Storytime friends? She began to rain, the way clouds would cry. Oh, poor Gail. The head guardian tried again. No other formations? He asked. No, Gail whispered. Just things like mountains and bears and frogs. The crowd gasped. Only land below shapes? Asked the oldest guardian. Gail nodded. She could see Mama's worried face. The guardians bent their heads to talk. What do you think the guardians are going to say, Storytime friends? Do you think Gail's in trouble because she can't make any other formations? Finally, the oldest guardian knelt beside her. We are so glad to finally find you. His voice was gentle. We've been waiting for another daydream cloud for a long time. Daydream cloud? Gail had never heard of that. What do you think a daydream cloud is? You will make fish and boats, waterfalls and crows, said the head guardian. You'll make castles in the air, said another. Gail was confused. I'd make my own shapes, she asked. The oldest guardian laughed. That's what daydream clouds do. They make shapes from the land below, shapes the world can dream on. Congratulations, class, the head guardian announced. You have all graduated from formation school. Oh my gosh. So Gail did graduate, but instead of making cloud formations like all of her peers and cloudlets, she's gonna get to be a daydream cloud. How cool. Gail could hardly believe it. She would be allowed to earth gaze all day. She could create shapes of the many things she loved. The swaying trees, the lumbering bears, the great fish. Gail twirled so fast that she nearly made a funnel cloud. Gail's mother hugged her. I'm so proud of you. Nimber reached for her hand. Gail happy? Gail nodded, and she thought happy, puffy thoughts. Not because she was trying to make a cumulus cloud, but because she believed that happy, puffy thoughts would make the best shapes for the land below to dream on. And there's Gail making puffy, happy fish. Oh, I'm so happy for Gail. That's so wonderful. That would be so fun, wouldn't it, to be a daydream cloud? And you know what? I think the cloud in this book was also a daydream cloud, making up all of those different shapes that the land below gets to daydream on. Oh, well, thank you so much for reading with me today, Storytime friends. I hope you liked learning about clouds and reading more about maybe how clouds think and how they move and how they make different shapes for us to look at. So let me show you what our Storytime craft is for this week. I have a wide variety of different cool clouds, and you make these different clouds by using cotton balls. And when you make these different clouds, you can learn about all of the scientific names. So here we have a cirrocumulus. That's those lots of little tiny clouds spattered about. A cumulus, that's our big fluffy white clouds like we were acting when we were puffing up. We have nimbostratus that are kind of gray and stormy but still puffy. We have cirrostratus that's starting to get really thin and wispy. We have altocumulus, that's where it gets even more thinned out and it just kind of looks like a gray kind of cloudy sky. And stratus are different from altocumulus because they're really thin and wispy. So they don't really make a cloudy sky. It's just those really tiny, thin, wispy clouds that you see in the sky during a blue sky day. All right, so if you want to make this, just ask about our preschool kit and we will get you those cotton ball clouds and you can learn about all the different types of clouds and make them yourself. Thank you so much for reading with me today, Storytime friends. Next week, we are going to be reading about something else that's really cool in nature, just like clouds. We are going to be reading about bzzz, about bees. I'm so excited. So have a wonderful week. Take some time to look up into the sky and daydream on those beautiful clouds, and I'll see you next week, okay? All right. Take care, Storytime friends. Have a good week.